Hello, everybody. I'm loud, I'm boisterous, and I'm colorful. How about that? Thank you so much for being here. I am, like she said, Candace Ledbetter, CEO and founder of CM Better Media. We are a full service, public relations agency, integrated marketing as well, based in Atlanta, Georgia, but we serve clients globally. So let me tell you a little bit about why I'm qualified to be on the stage today. So, like I said, we are a full service PR and visibility agency, and we help big brands, small brands doing big things, and captivating voices go from background noise to household names. How many of you all want to be household names with your firms? Amen. All right. I'm also a fourth grade, y'all. Clearly, I've had too much coffee today. I need my words to catch up with my brain, okay? I'm a former eighth grade language arts teacher. And let me tell you something. Working in middle school, are there any former teachers in here? Nobody? Just me? Okay. Oh, we have one. Let's just say that was the best form of birth control ever, all right? Y'all, puberty at its truest form, but it was such a rewarding experience. And let me just say that being a teacher was necessary to give me the patience to deal with working in PR, all right? So, after being an eighth grade language arts teacher, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. I'm originally from the DMV. Anybody from the DMV? Virginia, Maryland, DC? Okay, all right. And now I live in Atlanta. And once I got there, I became a radio show producer. And from there is when I got into PR full time. All right. So 2014, that's when I started CM Better Media. And just in case you were wondering about the name, and this goes into branding as well, my name is Candace Nicole Ledbetter. My company is C for Candace, N for Nicole, Better for Ledbetter. But it speaks seeing better, if you caught that. I try to be clever at times. Y'all, hey, just deal with me. But I have an honor, or have had the honor, of serving a wonderful array of clients. And actually, let's go to a couple of those. So on the screen, you see just a couple of clients, past and present. We currently serve Carnival Cruise Line, Angel Studios. We also serve Traffic Sales and Profit and Rap Snacks and a whole host of others. And one thing I will say is that when I first started in PR, I started in entertainment, so working with a lot of the film studios, television networks, doing press runs, and then eventually we went into working with subject matter experts, and those are those captivating voices that I just mentioned to you. And then these are some of the film campaigns that we've worked on. And then today, what I want to do is kind of bottle all of my expertise into this session so that you can walk away with some actionable strategies. Anybody ready for that? All right, let's do it. So the first thing you're going to learn to do today is differentiate your brand. Now, differentiation is nothing new. You all know, don't be like your competition, set yourself apart, right? Everybody knows that. So what I'm going to do is kind of give you some refreshers, because everybody in here, to my understanding, you are already established, so you already have a brand, you already have a business. And so it might be time for you to just kind of revisit some things, because as we grow in our companies, we also change in who we want to serve, how we want to serve, and also how we want to show up to the people that we want to bring into our business, right? So we're going to talk about some helpful tips that can clarify and refresh your brand identity. We're also going to establish your brand, and this is all about positioning. And these will be actionable online strategies that will keep you top of mind with your audience. And then last, we're going to go into my superpower of PR, and we're going to give you some winning PR tips that you can actually take away and apply today for some quick wins. Y'all ready for some quick wins? All right, let's do it. So let's start with differentiation. So first and foremost, we know that we all have competitors. There are competitors who are working in the same lane as us, but they don't do what we do, right? They don't work like we work. They don't serve like we serve, and they don't give like we give. So, how do you differ from the competition? Differentiation basically means set yourself apart, right? And creating a distinct brand identity for your business. A lot of times, I will say this, a lot of times when we start our companies, we're so excited, we're so quick to do it, but we don't really pay attention to the little nuances that really attract people to us and get them into our ecosystem so that we can convert them into the clients that we want. So, how does this differentiation play out? It plays out with our quality of service. It plays out in our values. It plays out in our service packaging, our prices. It plays out in all of that. And that's what helps you stand out in the marketplace. So, let's talk about what sets you apart. All right, now they're not like us, right? I won't have you all chant that because I know Clio is Canada-based and I want to come back next year, okay? Those who know, you know, we're gonna leave it right there, okay? But what I want you to do, I want you to turn to your neighbor, whoever's sitting next to you, and I want you to introduce yourself, share what lane of law practice that you're in, and I want you to share one thing, just one thing. There may be many things, but share that main thing that you think your firm does very well that makes you stand out from your competition. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to do it for both sides. 30 seconds, go. All right, let's come on back. And where is Katie? Katie is in the audience. I want to, maybe one or two people, if you see Katie in the middle, please wave your hand if you want to share something that you do to differentiate yourself from your competition. But of course, make sure you introduce who you are, what lane of practice you do, and then how you differentiate yourself. All right, we have one.
Hi, my name's George Miller. I'm a Pennsylvania-based wrongful death and personal injury attorney. One thing that we do, and it's obviously not going to be 100% unique, but if we took something from the keynote, it's we are, at our firm, we try to be obsessed with client communication. Whether it's a small update, whether it's a large update, whether it's a small document, whether it's a large document, we train our staff and we use and leverage technology to make sure that the client has that information, eliminating client calls, client worries, angry clients, and ultimately enhancing the likelihood that we receive positive reviews from our clients.
Love it. Let's give him a round of applause. When I tell you communication is key, so you are already winning, sir. Anybody else want to share what sets them apart? I see another person in the back.
Hi, thank you. My name is Andrea Evans, and I own Evans IP Law, a full-service patent, trademark, and copyright law firm. And what sets my firm apart is prior to launching the firm, I worked at the USPTO as both a patent examiner and trademark examining attorney. So we cut costs by foreseeing issues that someone without our skill set would overlook.
That's good. That's really good. Let's give her a round of applause. And that's so important because a lot of people don't think that your previous experience applied to your current service does play a big part because it sets you apart from your competition. I'll use myself as an example too. So I will say that with me being a radio show producer, myself and my business partner, who is a former journalist for multiple publications, with us being prior journalists and still kind of journalists in a way, that sets us apart from other PR agencies that we are in competition with because we actually know firsthand what the media wants. That makes us bosses in pitching. That makes us know exactly what needs to go to them when it comes to confirming interviews and thinking ahead because we were in those positions where we were waiting on those PR practitioners to give us the information. So we have a step ahead. So that's a little example, but that goes a long way, especially in whatever industry that you're working in. So let's move forward. Now, your competition may operate in the same lane. You saw McDonald's and Burger King ahead, when we started. But your I'm sorry, y'all. Your competition may operate in the same lane, but your approach and your specialization makes you different. There's one thing I want you to focus on in this track race that's going on right here. I'm going to give you a second just to kind of look at who's running and what you see. And then I'm going to point out something that stood out to me. So one thing I want to point out to you is that if you look at the person that's in the forefront, which is Sha'Carri Richardson, you look at her and her face is calm. She is chilling. She's running this race and she's got it, right? Everybody else looks constipated. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, I'm looking at their faces and they're all like, oh my God, like, I need to win. So that is a stark example of how confident you should be in your brand, right? You should feel good about what you're doing. You should feel good about the service that you're giving to your clients. And you can move in confidence like that. So let's move forward because I want to get to this example too. So we have McDonald's and we have Chick-fil-A. We all know McDonald's, we all know Chick-fil-A, but we also know specific things about both that sets them apart, right? Of course, the obvious is McDonald's is a burger place. Chick-fil-A is more chicken-based. Chick-fil-A, they have cows as a mascot, and McDonald's has Ronald McDonald, although we have not seen Ronald McDonald in a long time. Somebody go find him, please. Chick-fil-A, if it's one thing that I will say that sets them apart from any other fast food institution, is their service, their customer service. How many of you all feel kumbaya when you leave that drive-through lane and they say, my pleasure? I do. Anybody else love that? That is customer services, top tier. They always have the exact number of sauces that I ask for. I don't have to go back and ask for 4 more sauces. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that set you apart. Not only that, but McDonald's is more of a global brand. Chick-fil-A is more regional. Chick-fil-A also closes on Sundays, but we will be right back there on Monday morning waiting on those chicken minis. McDonald's is 24/7, so you see the differences between those types of things in the same lane. So let's get into some actionable things that you can apply. First and foremost, I want you to activate your base, all right? We're gonna start with build. Now, in this situation, you wouldn't necessarily be building from scratch because, again, you're already established. But let's think of rebuilding, right? So we want you to rebuild your core. And your core is revisiting those core things, those core messaging points, your mission, your vision, your values. You know, we want you to evaluate those key aspects of your brand that you can strengthen that will position you in a better space for the people that you're trying to attract. So let's look at this graphic here. So when you go back to the drawing board, I want you to go back to your foundation and I want you to refresh and look with an eye, because one thing I will say, as we continue to work, and I mentioned this earlier, as we continue to do the work that we do, we end up kind of fine-tuning who we want to serve and who we don't want to serve, right? What we want to do and what we don't want to do. So that's important when you go back to the drawing board of your foundation. You want to ensure that your firm's mission, vision, values, objectives, all of those are aligned with your current services and the needs and wants of the target audience that you now want to serve. It could be the same audience. Maybe different services, different packaging, but you want to make sure that you go back to fine-tune your messaging so that it attracts them. SWOT analysis, that's a basic thing. We all do it. It's necessary, though. So make sure you do your SWOT analysis. And you want to analyze, you want to evaluate how your competitors are positioning themselves. How many of you see your competitors getting a lot of press, doing a lot of new things, or people talking about them a lot? So, and that happens a lot because they're doing something that you're not. So this is your moment to analyze what they're doing. And when I say analyze, I don't mean go and copycat. I mean go and look in the places and the spaces where they're positioning themselves. If they're on TV, what television stations are they on and what topic are they talking about, right? If they are in the community, what type of activity are they doing and how are they positioning themselves so that people keep coming back for more? So look at your competitors. It is necessary. Your unique value proposition goes back to clarifying what value you offer to your audience. Unique selling point goes back to what we were saying about me being a former journalist. That's a unique selling point to my agency because that's something the clients can connect with and be like, oh, well, she's been in the industry. She knows exactly what's necessary. Your services and pricing, which we all pretty much change that periodically. Customer experience, going back to the experience of Chick-fil-A versus McDonald's. And then also your branding and content. And that last little pillar right there is a setup that's coming. So, but before we get to that setup, let's talk about avataring your audience. We all know what an avatar is. This is nothing new, right? But there's one thing that a lot of people miss. They will define the demographics of who their target audience is, but they won't put a persona to it. It's important to really understand who it is that you want to serve. Because when you really put a face and a name, an age and interests, and where they go and consume media, and where they go to have lifestyle events and things that they get involved in, once you really dig deep to understand who your client is, it will help you serve them better. It will also help you create more services that will serve them better. So let's give some examples with this. So when it comes to your ideal client avatar, there's a couple of things that you want to make sure that you have. Number one, who is the ideal client, right? What do they want? What don't they want? How do they find you? Why do they buy from you? What are their pain points and challenges? And then, of course, what are their demographics? How does this look? So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So there is a course that I have put together. It's called No Budget PR. And when I'm thinking of who I'm trying to attract into this program, there's a couple of different audience points. Number one, we have Dee Dee, who's a PR professional. She's 22, she's single, she's no kids, she's on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, all of the above, right? But she's a recent college grad, and she's an aspiring PR professional who has a few great internships under her belt. She landed a day job after graduation, but is nothing that relates to what she really wants to do. During her spare time on evenings and weekends, she does a little PR projects for family and friends so that she can learn the ropes and get her feet wet. She eventually wants to work in the field full-time, but fears she doesn't have enough experience or knowledge to launch out on her own. Because she doesn't have much money, she's seeking affordable training that will prepare her with tools, resources, and templates that will make her successful. That is an audience member of No Budget PR. Here's an affordable training that you can learn how to do what I do with my clients every single day. So she is somebody who wants to be in PR. Now, Angel is a music artist who needs PR, but she doesn't have enough money. So she needs an affordable way to achieve the success of what PR can bring to her, but she has to do it herself. This course is a DIY course, all right? So you see how that's shaping up. Same thing with Roderick. Roderick is a C-suite professional. He wants to create a personal brand, and he wants to set himself apart from the business that he is because he has a level of expertise that he's trying to put out into the world. But he doesn't know where to start. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know how to package his story. None of that stuff. He needs No Budget PR. Same thing with author Stacia. Stacia is divorced. She has a story of domestic violence. She's writing this book, but she doesn't know the first place to go in order to actually find out how she can amplify this. So those are just some examples. And what that also does, guys, it also helps you connect to the audience, to your avatar. One thing that I appreciated about the keynote last night, Judge Pratt, she talked about being customer-centric and really having a heart for the people that you're serving. When you create these avatars, you create that relationship with them without even knowing who they are. you get a deeper relationship with them, and that also helps you to connect to know how to serve them better. So let's talk about shape your message. Now here, I just have a core messaging map, and these are things that you should already be working in your business or have working in your business. A brand story. How many of you all have a brand story or know what a brand story is? Okay, awesome. The reason why brand stories are important is because, again, the human connection. There's one thing that I have learned in having a business. People will people will buy into you before they buy from you. So you have to become human. You have to show who you are outside of what you do. It's important. And when you do that, you'll see a shift in the people that come into your doors. Brand promise. What are you committing to delivering to your clients? Brand values. Those are the core principles. Brand tone and voice and personality. Please apply your personality. We want to know that you can laugh. Okay? We want to know that you are human and going back to that human connection. And then also brand tagline and slogan, positioning statement, elevator pitch, target audience, all of the above. And there are templates that I will have coming out to you all at the end of next week that will give you some templates where you can just kind of fill in the blank if you want to do that. So now this one right here, this is for my hard-headed people in the audience. And I'm talking to myself too, guys, okay? Evolve your image. So this is important because your visual identity needs to match across the board, right? And when I say that, we need to know what your colors are. We need to know what fonts you like. We need to know that the way you look on Facebook is the same way you look on your website and the same way you look in LinkedIn. And that's just streamlining everything across the board. Now, when you are going into your distinct brand identity, there is also an opportunity for you to tweak. For instance, if you look at the two See 'em Better logos up at the top, when I first started my company was focused on social media. See 'em Better Media was supposed to be a social media company. Now, of course, as I got my feet wet and started doing the work, it was a lot. It was no sleep gang, y'all. I needed a life, okay? But I kept that logo up until maybe 3 years ago. And now, and the reason why it's different is because the little bubble up at the top has all the social media icons. So when I said that I needed to shift, I didn't want to stray too far away from what people already knew me to be as far as the colors and the design. But I sleeked it a little bit and tweaked it to what you see right underneath. So making sure that you have those logo variations, making sure that you have what your whole brand guide needs to be, goes a long way. Because especially when you are creating marketing materials or updating your websites and all of those things, these things play a big part. Now, this is the most important part. Because there are some of y'all in here who have not gotten new pictures since 10 years ago. All right? How many? Go ahead and raise your hand. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't tell anybody. But it is time to refresh your images. All right? You look far different than you did 10 years ago. All right? And not only that, but we do have wonderful smartphones, guys. I love smartphone technology and the cameras are awesome. But don't always use that, all right? Don't use that for professional images. Go and have a full brand shoot, all right? And not just the images that are in front of the solid backgrounds, those are perfect. Those studio images are perfect, but the lifestyle stuff is what goes a long way. Again, showing human connection. And then you want to get specific to what you do. Be in the office. If you drink coffee, have a cup of coffee in your hand. You know what I'm saying? Stuff as simple as that will show who you are, your personality, how you flow. So those are especially important. For instance, the director down at the bottom left of the screen, he's standing next to a director's chair. Something as simple as that. It tells me you're a film director or you direct something. Okay? So now, oops. There we go. Now we're going to talk about website upgrades. And this is where I call myself out, all right? You are not alone. You are not alone. Okay, I'm not going to sing. But you are not alone in this. How many of you all know that you need to update your website? I see a lot of hands. Yes? I am in this battle with you. Amen? So this is important because, and I'll use myself as an example. I won't call you out, but I'll call myself out. We get busy. We do the work, and we are doing it 24/7, 7 days a week, right? And we don't have a lot of time to do stuff for ourselves. So we have to fire ourselves, guys, and have somebody else to do it. That's what I have done. I encourage you to do the same. And mine is in the process, so I'm going to show you 2 examples. Because if you go to my website right now, it's very 2015, all right? It's still 2015. It has not been touched since 2015, all right? But we are upgrading. So first, on the left, that's what it looks like. Now, there were actually some pictures up at the top. They're gone. I don't know where they went. It must have happened during COVID. We're going to blame it on COVID. But the next one on the right, that's where we're going. And that's even just a mock-up. That's not even how it's really going to look. There's going to be a whole mosaic. There's going to be curves. There's going to be pops of color, all the things. And it's going to reflect who I am. It's going to reflect my personality. And most importantly, it's going to reflect my work. Because there's a ton of work that's not on the 2015 site that people don't even know that I've done. And I'm sure it's the same thing with you. So that is important. All right. We ready to move on to the next thing? All right. So let's talk about establishing your brand. This is where we're getting into some online strategies that resonates with your audience and attracts and converts and retains customers. So, content. I know that's an ugly word to a lot of people, but it is necessary. But this way, I'm going to kind of break down some ways that can make it more digestible for you. So once you've clarified your brand, you've gone through all the wording, all the messaging, you've revamped the brand story, all the things, this is the most effective way to showcase your value to your audience, and that is online. And I call it, or my industry calls it, owned media specifically. And we'll get to a slide with that. But owned media is all of the channels that you own, your website, your newsletter, your social media, all of those things. That is your owned media, your blog, all of that. And so those things are important because you're able to leverage your owned media to create, to curate, to distribute content that resonates and connects with your clients that you're trying to attract. So if you build it, they will come. And there are 3 C's to this strategy. First, you want to define your channels. And that is where you will show up and connect and communicate with your audience, right? Now, your content, that is what you're producing. That's what you're putting out there that's most relevant to the pain points, the challenges, and the interests of your audience. It also helps to establish the KLT factor, which we'll get into in a little bit further. And then finally, consistency. You have to show up. You can't post today and next year you have another post. You have to be consistent because that's what keeps your people coming back. So we'll get into that. Now, first thing, define your verticals. This goes again to content platforms that best serve your audience and give you a platform to give your thought leadership. This is where you're giving those tips and those strategies. It's your blog, it's your podcast, it's your YouTube series, it's your email newsletter, it's your updates, it's all of those things. Those are your verticals. The next is channels. And these are your social platforms where you can best communicate and connect with your audience. And then also you want to define your categories. Now, you have layers of categories, guys, and this will go into when we talk about PR. But these are the topics and themes that you can really showcase your expertise. And these are not just your zone of interest, your zone of genius. This is also your interest, things that you're interested in, things that you have hobbies in, all of the things. You could be a boss lawyer during the day and a fashionista by night. Show it all, okay? And you want to make sure that it resonates, again, with the needs and desires of your audience. Again, human connection. And then you want to define your frequency. Now, every social media platform has different levels of frequency. You may post 1 or 2 times a week on LinkedIn, but Twitter is going to need at least 7 posts a day. So you have to understand, and this graphic that's right here is Hootsuite, and this is a 2024 graphic. So if you want to take a screenshot, this is what they say should be the frequency. But this is important because your regular and consistent posting schedule helps you build that audience because they keep coming back for more. Hey, those 5 tips that you gave the other day, I need to come back for that because I'm expecting that you will continue to give me your nuggets, your thought leadership that I can take away and I can go be better. So, now, you down with KLT? Yeah, you know me. Okay, then. Guys, just bear with me. I go there sometimes. But again, people will buy into you before they buy anything from you. And when you create that balanced and consistent content, that's when you bring about the know, like, and trust factor. So, know establishes awareness and visibility. And this is where people are asking, who are you and what do you do? Because I don't know who you are or who you think you are, but I need to know because clearly you're giving me something that I need. Next is like. This is establishing your authenticity and your relatability. And people will ask, do I like you? Can I relate to you? Human factor. And then the trust. And this is where consistency comes in. And the credibility. So they're going to ask, are you an expert? Do you know what you're doing? That's a question. Have others had success with you? Can I keep coming back to your channels to learn more of what I need? And then there's a bonus here because when you establish know, like, and trust, you establish a paying customer. And that's where buy comes in because that establishes a pipeline of new business, customers, and brand loyalists. How can you help me or solve my problem? And when they buy from you and the service is great and they feel that human connection from you, guess what? They're going to evangelize your brand and you've got some brand loyalty. All right? So, one important thing, and we get caught up in this because, again, who has time, right? The answer is fire yourself, hire somebody else to do it, okay? This is where the 80-20 rule comes in because when you are creating content, you don't want to just keep selling stuff. That's boring. If I go to a page and you're just selling me stuff, that's it. I have nothing else. You have nothing else to give me? 20% should be selling, 80% should be about you. Now, how does that apply to you having law firms? It applies because you also have behind the scenes. People want to see not just you, but who else is working with you in your law firm, right? What are some of the other things that you're doing? Are you doing a team outing at a candle making space? That's something to post because it shows the team, it shows camaraderie, it shows human connection. So, here are 4 E's of content that can kind of put you in mind of what you need. Again, this is nothing new that you don't already know, but it's something that you need to apply. So educate, infographics, list-based articles, tips, life hacks, all the things. Entertaining, you want funny memes, viral videos, of course that pertain to what you do. Quizzes and polls are great for law firms. Social themes, quotes, song lyric quotes. And then also you want to encourage. Now this is not just encouraging inspirationally, but this is also promoting. So these are your call to actions. These are your contests and giveaways. These are your new service promotions. These are your announcements. And then you want to call people to engage. This is, again, going behind the scenes. What are those caption this type things and your polls, fans of the month, photo challenges, all the things. Now, content hack number 1, and this is important because a lot of people always say, yeah, Candace, I know I need content, but I don't know what content to put up there. Aside from the 4 slides that we just showed you, one hack is your social proof. Every last person in here is an expert. Every last person in here has testimonials, or you have somebody that you've worked with that can give you a testimonial. Some of you have won awards, some of you have gotten media coverage, some of you have gotten verified, some of you have milestone achievements, some of you are already partnering with influencers and big brands and partnerships and stuff like that. That is social proof. What that is proving to the people that I am who I do what I do, and I say what I say, pretty much. It establishes your expertise and goes back to the know, like, and trust factor. Now, there is another content hack that goes into the next section, and we are ready for that. Y'all ready for some PR strategies? Let's go. I heard somebody say, let's go. That was you. There we go. We're there. We're right there. So, amplify your brand. These are some winning PR tips that you can take away today that will help you shift some things, get you from the background noise, push you to some household names. Maybe not tomorrow. It takes time, but hey. So this is the graphic that I was telling you about earlier, where it kind of breaks out owned media, but then also some other media pieces. In the industry, we call this the peso model. So first, understanding what PR is. PR is strategic process of managing your reputation, shaping your company image, your communication with the public and your stakeholders, and with the media. The core goal of it is to build that positive reputation, that positive sentiment, so people know, like, and trust you outside of your content, but in the media space. And we do that through various channels, and that's what you see here on this graphic. So, earned media, that's the free stuff. That's what we do. If you hire a PR professional, we are pushing for earned media. So what we're doing is packaging you into what we call pitch angles, and we are pitching that to the media, and we're timing it to certain times where the media wants to actually talk about those things, or we may leverage certain things that's happening in the news, which we'll get to in a moment. But just remember, earned media is the free stuff. You do not pay for that. So then also we already talked about owned media, so we know that that's your content, things that you are creating in your platforms. Shared media is what's in the social space. Shared media is largely a part of, again, your social platforms, but then also when you get into influencer engagement, because you're leveraging them to help extend your brand. And that can be influencers, that could be corporate partners, it could be whoever, community partners, whatever. You are leveraging them to help amplify your brand. That's shared media. Partnerships, and then also optimized content. And then the paid stuff. There are some things that you got to pay to play, right? And depending on how bad you want it, paying for a specific placement is a good thing. It just has to be strategic, and your PR professional will help you with that. But paid media also goes into advertising. That is media buys with radio stations or television networks. Also, your social media ads. That is a real thing with real money, okay? So that is public relations in a nutshell. Now, how do you leverage PR for brand growth? The first thing you can do is a press release. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people say press releases are dead, don't do press releases. Press releases are still necessary, guys, but the managing of expectations have to be applied. Doing a press release and putting a press release out there is not going to land you an interview. It will put out the announcement. It will tell people and tell the world of your new service, whatever it is that you're launching, whatever it is, it will put it out there. But for it to connect to the audience, you have to take that press release and use it as a base in your pitching to the media so that they can have all the information that they need. The way that we do it, we have clients who do big things, right? I don't care if it's a big conference that they're doing, or if they are launching a new campaign initiative for voting rights or whatever it is. We will put the press release out first, get it in the atmosphere, and then when we write our emails to the media, we take it and we use it as a base. So this is how it goes. Hey, media person at Fox News. Not sure if you got this the other day, but I wanted to share this link to our most recent press release with our client who is launching this new voter initiative in the Atlanta area. Here are the details, but if you want more, you can read that link and then let me know after you take a look, and let me know if you want me to bring them in to talk about bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Short, sweet, to the point. That's all they can digest, guys. They can't read a whole bunch of stuff because they get emails back to back to back every day, hundreds. So again, we take it and we use it as a hyperlink in that pitch so that they can click on it when they have time to read the rest of the information, all right? Press releases, you can leverage it for PR growth and visibility to announce new developments, successes, or milestones. Press releases are primarily tools for sharing information. They play a crucial role in building a media presence by providing journalists with accurate, timely updates about your business. One thing I will say, there are newswire services. So a lot of our clients, when we do press releases, they do want it to go out on the newswire. The newswire is like a Cision, PR newswire, e-releases, EIN releases. Those newswire services will take your release. You can select what industries you want it to go to, and it can reach a lot of people that are targeted very fast. But it costs a lot of money. So you want to keep that, be mindful of that. By pairing these releases with targeted media pitching, you can strategically reach out to specific reporters or outlets that align with your industry, increasing the chances of securing coverage and boosting brand visibility. And this approach positions your company as a credible source while growing your reach through earned media. Now, the next thing you can do immediately, again, we're in a room full of experts. You need to become an expert source. There is what we call newsjacking. Newsjacking is definitely something that it's the news cycle. So anytime the news cycle changes, if you have a specific expertise that can speak to what's happening in the news, then you definitely want to become the expert source. Where can you position yourself? In your hometown. We all have affiliates, television affiliates in our hometown. Become the expert law source for your hometown, right? Even your niche platforms, if it's Law 360 or any other legal platforms that have a presence that you can tap into and share your story or share your expertise, do that. So giving those expert insights and newsjacking, that will definitely allow you to capitalize on trending topics. And then community outreach and engagement. This is so important. We have a law client, and this particular law client has 3 offices in 3 different cities. In each one of those cities, she does huge community engagement, whether it's a turkey giveaway, whether it's a back to school block party, or whatever it is, she's doing it, and she's partnering with other organizations in the area to, again, do what we talked about earlier, leverage the audience, right? And not only that, but she also does some paid media. She does radio advertisements all the time. Not just radio advertisements, but she also taps into things that the radio station is doing. So if it's a big Christmas giveaway, she's being one of the main sponsors to help with that giveaway. So much so, guys, that now when people see her in the street, they stop her. Oh my God, I love you. I won the giveaway last year. Like, it is amazing. And when that tell you that that will catapult you, because when you give, you get back in a very big way. So if you can tap into some community engagement, definitely look at that, because that act of service, again, human connection, allows you to provide resources and spread joy in the community, and that is also a way to get people to buy into you. And then finally here, telling your story. One thing you have to understand about PR, we are storytellers. We are the people that package you. We look at all your angles, all your layers to see what makes sense to the media. So telling your story is the bread and butter of your amplification. One of the misconceptions about PR is that people think that it's solely focused on your professional experience, but it's also part of your lived experience, and I'm going to fast forward and get to that. So, anybody in here like the Real Housewives franchise? All right. I call that sophistiratchet television, okay? And this is a sophistiratchet technique. Not in that way, but I want you to turn to your neighbor again, and I want you to tell your neighbor, do that. I only heard 2 people. I need to hear it loud. There it is, right here in the front. I heard you. So, this is what do that means. The first D is define your story. Let me tell you why this is important. And this is where I go back to the layers. So some people will recognize this gentleman. He was the cop on Baywatch back in the day. See, somebody connect. See, there we go. He also, for those who watched Greenleaf on the Oprah Winfrey Network, he was Uncle Mac. He is not like that in real life. I just want to make sure that's clear. But his name is Greg Allen Williams. Greg Allen Williams came to me because he was going to be on Greenleaf. And when he wanted to maximize on the visibility he was going to get during the show. So we're sitting down and I said, okay, let's talk about what do you do outside of acting? Like who are you outside of acting? He was like, oh, my bio's on IMDb. I said, no, that's still acting. What do you do outside of acting? So he said, oh, I've written about 5 books. They're novels. They're on Amazon. I'm like, sir, nobody knows that. Who knows that? Then he said, yeah, and I also have an acting studio I've had for 20 years. And I'm like, nobody knows that either. And then he said, and I also won a Medal of Honor. I was awarded a Medal of Honor from the city of LA during the LA riots for saving somebody's life. What? Now, let me give you the timing of this. This was at the end of March where we're having this conversation. April of that year was the 25th anniversary of the LA riots. So guess what I did? Sir, I know that you want to talk about Greenleaf and your new character, but guess what? In order to get to that moment to talk about that, we're going to leverage this because this is what the media wants to talk about, right? So immediately I put a pitch together. We got him on CNN, HLN. We had him on the Tom Joyner Morning Show when it was still around back then. And then countless other television shows and radio. And when I tell you, when you do that, when you leverage your lived experience and it opens the door for PR, what is the media going to do at the end of the interview? They're going to ask you, so what's next? How can people connect with you? Where do they go to find you? And he was able in every single one of those interviews to say, well, I'm on a new show called Greenleaf. It's on the Oprah Winfrey Network. It's going to air every Tuesday at 9 p.m. So that is a lived experience that opened the door for a conversation that you really want to have. Next, we have align your story. So this is where, when does your story make sense? And who does it make sense to help you tell it? All right? So this is where there's 2 things I want you to do. Next time you're in Barnes & Noble, I know that they're almost gone, Lord. This moment of silence. I'm still trying to recover from Borders leaving. Anybody else still trying to recover from? But see, you're my people. Thank you. I'm still recovering. But anyway, Barnes & Noble, we're still rocking. Next time you're in Barnes & Noble, go to the magazine section. And I want you to thumb through some of the magazines there. This is why this is important, because everybody says, oh, I want to be on Good Morning America. I want to be in Essence Magazine or Entrepreneur Magazine or whatever it is. But do you really fit in those places? And this is how you determine that. You go through the magazine, you thumb through. There are sections that are in those magazines every single month. All right? And depending on what season it is, especially if it's the Christmas season, there are going to be some holiday gift guides. You know what I'm saying? So you have to really thumb through and figure out what section applies to you and when. Not only are you paying attention to that, but you're also paying attention to who's writing the articles. Who are the editors? There's a whole masthead in the first few pages of the magazine that tells you who the editors are, who the writers are. Go find those people, follow them online, on social media, and get familiar with their tone and voice in the stories that they write. And then comment on their stuff. They like that. So, and then also I have television stations here too, because television is important because you have different segments in television as well. So if you want to be on Good Morning America, do you really fit on Good Morning America, the show, or do you fit on GMA 3? And then if you fit on GMA 3, is it Faith Friday that you really fit into? So you have to pay attention, watch the shows, read the magazines, all of that stuff. Now this is the other content hack, and this is the last thing that we're going to talk about. Time your story. Everything is timing, guys. Everything is timing. So here, I'm showing you an editorial calendar. This is from O Magazine. This was some years ago. I think it was 2019. But this is very important because every magazine, print or online, will have an editorial calendar. This is important because, as you can see, they have told you every single month what they're going to be talking about every single month. January, we're talking about coming together for fellowship. In April, we're talking about to save our planet. We're talking about getting woke in June. And then in December, of course, Oprah's favorite things. So you want to time yourself on if you have, let's say that you, let's say, with your neighbors. Maybe you have a community that really builds big on neighbors, and you want to have that conversation with O Magazine during the month of July. Now, here's the clincher. You can't reach out to them in July to have that conversation because trust and believe, they already had those interviews 6 months prior. 4 to 6 months in advance. That's why most PR practitioners will say that they want to have at least a 4 to 6 month contract to start with. And that's because they need that lead time. That's what we call lead time. And I don't have time to talk about that, but worksheets. Now, here is the content hack from the before. This is timing your story with all of the wonderful holidays and observances that happen in our lives. This month is October, so it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Are you somebody who dealt with breast cancer awareness, or were you a caretaker for somebody? This is a time that you can have that conversation. And it's a lived experience that can open the door to who you are professionally, right? Now, of course, you don't want to position it like that. I really want to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about, no, don't do that. But you want to have an authentic experience because your story, we're known by our testimony. You are known by your testimony, not just your zone of genius, all right? Here's some specific things. Law Day. Who knew there was a law day? I didn't know. I'm not in this industry, but I went and Googled it and I found it. Same thing with Love Litigating Lawyers Day. Like, these are things that actually exist. Paralegal celebration, they have whole weeks for these things. So go online. This is how you do it. Go online, go to Google, and just type up special observances for law, or special observances in the month of June. So you want to make sure that you are tapping into what the media wants to talk about or create an opportunity for yourself. And we have 4 minutes. I'm going to skip this slide and go to asking questions. So that's the end of the presentation, y'all. And I do want to give these last 4 minutes for anybody to ask questions. Does anybody have any questions? And we do have somebody in the back with okay, there we go, right there. Okay, we got some. They're popping. There's somebody right there. Mm-hmm.
That was so informative. Thank you. Could you go back to your last slide you didn't talk about so we can take a photo?
Okay, there we go. Because it is important. And, we'll just take it as a question because people always want to know, when are you ready for PR? Anybody want to know that? Like, I have a brand, but am I really ready? Yes, you are. So here are a couple of reasons or a couple of ways that you can tell that you are ready. Number one, You're newsworthy and you're unique. Those unique selling points, all those things we talked about in the beginning. Newsworthy product or service or experience that is timely and has impact. You're at a standstill. Let's say that you were somebody who got a whole bunch of press back in the day, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and you want to refresh your visibility. So that is an opportunity for you to say, you know what, I'm going to reshape and define my layers of my story points so that I can get more visibility. Another thing, you've got 15 minutes. Those 15 minutes of fame will do a lot in a short amount of time. Now, don't go out here and do a whole bunch of PR stunts. Don't do anything crazy either, but this is a room full of lawyers. I know you won't. But when you have those 15 minutes, I don't know if it's that you went viral for a new strategy that you put out there, or maybe you put out a social media meme that you're talking about your expertise and it resonated with the whole world. That 15 minutes of fame, you need to leverage that. You need to package it, send it to some media outlets and say, hey, not sure if you saw that I went viral, but here's what I talked about and here's what I can add to it. You're in demand. Let's say your business is booming, you're doing great things, and people are checking for you. That means that you have a certain level of popularity now that needs to be amplified. So that's where you want to start pitching yourself as well. And a lot of times in those in-demand moments, press will actually come to you. We've had clients that we have articles that just pop up about our clients just because they're popular. So you want to make sure that you leverage that. And then finally, you've got a budget. PR is definitely something that is not cheap, but depending on if you're working with a solopreneur that they may do retainers anywhere between 35, well, let's say 25 to 5 will be most solopreneurs. Then if you get into a small boutique agency, you're looking anywhere between 5 to 15. It depends on what it is that you need. If you just need it for yourself as a subject matter expert, it'll be in that lower range. But if you want to do your brand, and then an event, is going to be much more. So that's just perspective on how that may fare out. Yes, right here. Mm-hmm.
So the question was, you talked earlier about incorporating all yourself, different hobbies, things like that. Mm-hmm. How do you do that while still remaining professional?
There's 2 things that you can do. Depending on how your professional side is set up. Let's say if you are a consultant. A consultant can use the same media channel or the same social media channel for themselves, and then also for their professional self, because you are positioning as a subject matter expert. Now, if you have a whole law firm and you are looking to separate you from the law firm, still doing content there, but connecting the dot to who you are individually, I would say start another channel for yourself. And that is important because when your expertise starts to grow and shine, you're going to get speaking engagements. I mean, I'm up here on this stage. I need to create a personal Candace Ledbetter website now. but hopefully that answered your question. Awesome. Yeah. Yes. So, oops, there I go turning it off again. So take a screenshot or click the QR code. There will be worksheets that will come out to you. So if you click the QR code, you will see an email specifically designed for this conference, CleoCon 2024 at cmbettermedia.com. The message that's there on that line underneath the email is just put that in the subject line, and then I will put you on the list to send you the worksheets when they come out at the end of next week. All right? It is CleoCon 2024 at cnbettermedia.com. And if you take a picture or scan the QR code, it will be the second email that's right there. Mm-hmm. Yep. There you go. All right. And we are done. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Have a great day.